Hip hop is a huge part of black culture, but it's not just the bass of the beat or the melody of the flow. Hip hop is a culture, maybe even a lifestyle. And like every lifestyle, there's a positive side and the negative side. The most popular side of hip hop promotes behavior and language that is not conducive to black culture. On this Father's Day, I sit down with two fathers on how they deal with this negative side of hip hop while raising children. Follow me. Peace, and thanks for joining us. This evening, I have two gentlemen with me. I have Brandon Massenberg, and I have Justin Henry. So usually I have a brief introduction for my guests if we're going over a specific topic or something that was written. But tonight we're going to jump right into the topic. We're going to talk about two things that are really important to all of us in the room, probably you even watching, and that is hip hop and children. So we're going to jump right into it. So how much do you listen to hip hop? Would you call yourself a big fan of hip hop, Brandon?
I'm about a medium fan.
Medium fan?
Yeah.
How about you, Justin?
I love hip hop, top to bottom. Yeah.
Okay. What is hip hop to you? If someone, it's hip hop's such a broad term and we use it very loosely. What is hip hop to you?
I think it's a personal relationship. So I think people see hip hop different ways. So it's a culture. I think it's the way you dress, the way you carry yourself. It's definitely a sound. It's music. It's dance. It's a lot of things. To me, most it's music. That's the most way that I relate to hip hop.
And myself?
Yes.
Like Justin said, just piggybacking off what Justin said, the culture, the attitude, it's an era, the clothing, mainly music, and it stems from the music.
Who are your favorite artists to listen to when growing up?
Jay-Z's been mine. Biggie before that, then Jay-Z. So.
Ooh. Kind of this.
Favorite growing up, it was UGK. I grew up in there where No Limit came from nothing to just a phenomenon. So No Limit, I listened to a lot growing up. Cash Money Records. So I think the favorite growing up had to be UGK.
So while we're discussing music, there's also a visual side to the music. You have music videos, right? And whenever I think of hip hop music videos, I think of Lupe Fiasco's song Daydream, where he says, now come on everybody, let's make cocaine cool. We need a few more half-naked women by the pool. And hold this Mac 10 that's covered in jewels, and can you please put your titties closer to the 22s? And where's the champagne? We need champagne to act as hard as you can with this blood in your hand.
Yeah.
So when you were listening to Onyx, you didn't know what Onyx was talking about.
Nah, I just heard slam and a bunch of bass. So
Now you can easily Google it, YouTube it, see what the dab is, and the name.
right.
How does that play into your parenting?
Well,
If at all. If there's a way to.
just with with some of the stuff, even from back then, not being the most positive, and with my daughter being 4 and so impressionable, I just take the more conservative approach and keep her away from some of that stuff as much as possible, But I guess that's just my simple approach.
How about you, Justin?
So this is a bit different, but I think, like he said, they're very impressionable as children. So I think you have to be very purposeful of what they're getting as inputs, because to some extent that becomes who you are, whether you think it's good, right, or wrong. So I think you have to be purposeful about what's going into your child. So there's music that I listen to that if the same music were released today, I wouldn't let her listen to. Because I don't like the message that it sends to her or our culture or black men or black women or our community as a whole. I think that's extremely detrimental. Everything starts in your mind. Everything starts with your mindset. And I think Lupe's lyrics there, he's kind of doing a phenomenal visual critique of what the music industry he felt became in whatever year that was, 07 or 08.
Yeah. I think it was 2008. So how do you compensate for this gap? Because
You love hip hop.
you love hip hop,
Yeah.
Right.
you love your children,
Right.
but the two are like oil and water at the moment anyway. So how do you compensate for the gap? Like, do you go out and look for other hip hop music? Because we know not all hip hop is bad.
Yeah.
Do you listen to different genres of music? Do you just flood her with every genre of music? What's the what's the ultimate approach as a father?
We hit her. I mean, we hit her with everything. She hears everything from, Keith Urban to George Strait to Coldplay. She hears less rap. She's heard Chance in the car. The new Chance the Rapper album, Color.
The Color Book.
Coloring Book, yeah. She hasn't heard many others. She hears a lot of R&B. Sade, Beyonce. My wife loves Beyonce. I can go down the list.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of R&B is more suitable as long as it's creating the right perception about a woman and a man. We're very particular, especially with our kids, about how they view themselves and how they view each other, being a man and a woman. So
not a lot of rap.
Not a lot of rap. Just can't. I mean, I think I might have told you this story before, but when my daughter, when I realized I was about to have a daughter, I did two things. One, I reached out to women that I respected a lot and asked them, what did you get from your father, pluses, minuses, whatever. But the other thing I wanted to do was kind of just find music that I could kind of get in this mode. Kind of like if you go work out, like you want to hear a certain move. If I'm having a daughter, I want to kind of get music that puts me in a fatherhood mode and mentality. And it's hard to find. It's really hard to find in hip hop. I'm having a problem naming a song right now. You can get a lot of I Miss My Mom, Mama's is so important.
Right.
Luther Vandross has a song about his father, but other than that, it's tough. But when you go to country music, you can Google it. You can get 10 songs quickly about a father-daughter relationship. Right? The most important thing to me is when I come home and I look in the front door and I see my wife and my daughter. I mean, very familial. And not that that's what your family needs to look like, but that's sort of positive. And also, let me say this. Like, these artists in country music, their families aren't great. I mean, they're doing the same stuff every other community.
Right.
But for some reason, it's acceptable in their music to promote this positivity. But our music doesn't do that. So I have to go to other genres that I like, but don't like as much as hip hop, just to make sure that my daughter is getting the right message, or that I'm getting the right message as a father. For instance, one of the songs, there's a group that sings a song from the ground up, and it's just about building a family structure from the ground up. And I could be wrong, but it's hard to find music like that in other genres. So, as you grow up, you got to switch your mindset, and if you have goals as far as fatherhood, then you kind of have to align the things that you do and the music you listen to in your household to that type of stuff. I feel like sometimes, so it's difficult to connect hip hop, my love, to kind of what I feel like my purpose is as a father now.
That's good. Do you listen to country too? Or what's your experience in looking for hip hop music that is reflective of what you want your daughter to be or your children to be?
Well, I spent about a year in Nashville, so I listen to a little bit of country, but that's not my primary go-to and default other than hip hop. But my daughter, she has, when we're together, she has some experience listening to, like you mentioned, Coldplay and some of these alternative artists. We listen to a lot of what do you call it? Alternative Christian, Christian-based music. So some Lifehouse, and she actually likes the song about Hoobastank, and John Mayer, loves John Mayer. So she knows Daddy learning guitar, so she loves guitar. But those other genres, they do tell a wider range of stories, and they have a wider, like, it's base of influence. And hip hop is typically dance or what you said earlier, the Lupe song. So, I guess they call it the misogynistic approach on women or crime or whatever. So,
if I can hop it in, I'm not going to blame the industry or the society or whatever, but just as a society, for some reason, we've allowed...
Pause. Let me ask you this. Let me preface what you're about to say. Let me ask you this. Why is it, and I think it kind of leads to what you're going to say, why is it that with hip-hop being 30-year-old genre, all these artists, all this easy technology to make the music, why do you think it's hard to find hip-hop music or rap that is more reflective or more variety?
I think the stories are there, the artists are there, people want to tell that story, but I think society has accepted and bought, literally, the other version. To give an example, if we heard George Strait, a country artist, rap about killing individuals, it would offend the conscience of a lot of people. But for some reason in hip hop, we've just become normalized to it. And I have ideas on why that reason is, but I won't get into that. So I think
That'll be for another episode, maybe.
yeah, that'll be for another
next
episode.
episode.
But I wanted to be clear that the story's there. I mean, we have all of that within hip hop. Just only one gets a chance to be sold. And I keep going back to Chance, but Chance's album, I mean, he has lyrics on there where he's talking about, an issue with the industry, like him calling his friends who are other rappers and wanting them on a song, and the label telling them no, you can't work with him, and him having to fight with that. That's where that if one more label tries to stop me, it's gonna be some dreadhead is in the lobby. That's what the context of that song I feel like is about. So when you have that type of control from the industry, and people so committed to going through that route, that we don't ever get the other story unless you're willing to be a Chance the Rapper and tell your own story, which is a whole nother path. So I think the industry is part of it, and I think our society is part of it because we've just gotten comfortable with it and haven't demanded different.
So it sounds like, I mean, the wider, I guess the larger stream of this culture and genre is going one direction. So if you decide to do something, opposite that, you won't get the same support, or it won't get adopted as well. So
I think there's normal, regular, blue and white collar black people that are fans of hip hop, and there's space and an ear for a wider spectrum of music to be sold to the general public. But like you said, the larger stream of it that we are hearing is pretty one-sided, very told from a very particular point of view. It's as if everything is told from someone living in the projects.
like anger, or disenfranchised, disadvantaged. So.
Ooh, we can really, we can really.
But it's weird. Like when I hear about let's say social media, for example. When I read about people listening to let's say a rap song, or they're having a bad day at work, or before I go off on somebody, let me listen to this X, Y, Z, like UGK, or I'm about to go work out, let me listen to this Tupac. They use it for that like an outlet of this frustration to get over these these negative emotions sometimes. But I rarely see it like to go back to your point. It's never in the opposite of something positive, or as far as a family, or something like that. So I think
I just think this experience is there. It's there in our community.
Yeah.
We're not monolithic. There's all these different experiences within the hip hop communities, what I want to call it. But only one is told consistently, and the others have to be aberrations. Like you have to be Michael Jordan to get the other story out there. Like Kendrick Lamar to me is one of the best rappers. He's a Michael Jordan type in the rap game, and you have to be that phenomenal to get a different type of message out. And then Kendrick still doesn't get a Grammy for that album. He still doesn't get on that album. Those songs still didn't get regular play on the radio stations, who of course are owned by certain entities. But the ones that sounded kind of mainstream kind of got there, but the one with the most content, not so much. I think he did that purposely too, but who knows?
Yeah.
But this is off topic. Let me know. But I think the media outlets being controlled by certain entities really does a lot to dictate what we hear and what we see on TV. But
I think with hip hop being so raw and being so youthful, even now I would say hip hop is still youthful. You would think that one could use it as kind of a teaching point to get over a hardship, or to get over an obstacle or failure, or to just be creative and be expressive with the verbal rhyming. Do you ever see that being used as a tool to improve your children's, maybe, for example, freestyling? You have to be pretty quick at the mind.
Yeah.
You have to have really good verbal phrasing. You have to have a good vocabulary. Do you think it can be ever used at that level?
Yeah, we used it earlier this week. I mean, we were literally at the table.
You were freestyling at work?
No. This is me at our house. Yeah.
Oh,
our daughter's learning their words rhyme, so we were rapping. I mean, I would say something, and Chas would say something. We would see if she could do something, and sometimes she did, sometimes she didn't. And we had to educate her, but there's brilliance all throughout. Like, don't get that mistaken. I think it's the Shakespeare. I mean, it's Shakespearean. Like, if people really, most great rappers, if you just looked at their lyrics and you read them and you appreciated them, it's fine writing at its best. It doesn't get appreciated mainstream because it's not mainstream. It's not the old English. It's not, you know. But I put Lupe, Kendrick, Jay's best verses right next to Shakespeare. So yeah, we teach it in our house.
Might get some
We
hate
have
mail.
to pull out the unacceptable
Vernacular.
language or mindsets or concepts. You're not gonna say my daughter is X, Y, and Z, or that she can't be X, Y, and Z, or that she wants you just because of your car. That's not how we're raising our daughter. It's just not gonna happen.
Like UGK.
UGK. You just
So we're gonna near the end here. What is like overall? What effect do you think hip hop had on how you view the world, or viewed women, or viewed men? As looking back,
That's a
like
loaded question.
Were your parents or were the hip hop music more influential? Let me say that.
it wasn't more influential than my parents.
Yeah.
Thank God, because I told you my favorite album growing up was UGK, and if I emulated that,
Right.
I wouldn't have done so well in life.
Maybe.
No, I didn't have the heart. No,
Not really.
so that shaped how the context that we grew up in, especially how we viewed women and other men too. I mean, there was this persona that you had to be a certain way in our community listening to that music. I remember there were songs, there's certain songs in the club, whatever, that you knew where you needed to be when that song came on because something may or may not go down. I think it just created this atmosphere of just machismo. Like, people, you knew when a certain Nuck If You Buck,
That's the man.
all the Lil Jon and the East Side Boys
Yeah,
music.
30 cents.
If it came on, you either in it or you not. But then growing
What's
up,
the click that you throwing up? You
Yeah.
can't throw up no
Right.
click.
Yeah.
Right. You throw up a click,
yeah,
you disappear.
yeah,
Right.
you throw a click and you get on the wall. But it's still impacted our culture. But I think you grow up with hip hop. It's kind of like a sibling. I remember Goody Mob a few years later with Beautiful Skin or Black Skin, and they had a song called the N-Word Experience. It really talked about you're only the N-word if you believe that, but it's an action. It's not a being. It's not who you are. And then just
And then there people don't dance no more.
yeah.
All they do
is this. So
Yeah.
you kind of grow up with it, and as you get older, you start hearing the more mature thought process in some of these lyrics, and you grow with it. You get the Commons and the Kanye's albums, and I think Lupe was probably the most significant for me, but I was pretty old. I was teaching by that point, so I was
Pre-Kardashian or post-Kardashian?
First album. I've been working on this.
So
Pre-Kardashian.
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 Okay.
Its effect on me, I think it, very similar to what Justin was saying. Not to just continue to piggyback, but the effect that my parents had a much larger effect on me than hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
But hip hop did allow me to, I guess, connect a little bit more. So like I said, people of our age groups and of similar circles, we understood, we were all getting the same message. So I was able to leverage that while also knowing what my parents were teaching at home. So I saw how some of the people I grew up with, they went that route. Like you said, if you'd followed that UGK, I know some people that followed that UGK route and where they came from, and hearing their parents' stories and stuff like that. So I saw that I was able to appreciate more of my parents' teaching, and I appreciate that side of it won out. They're good, the angel and the devil. So but it still allowed me to identify with other people's story, what other people going through. So yeah, so the identification part of it was a lot of it.
So true.
Yeah.
The relationships, even there, even to this day, the last wedding I went to, when certain songs come on, everybody knows it. It's like a bonding.
Right.
It's a good feeling, man. So the content might have been too old for how old we were at the time, but it creates this connectivity amongst people that's unmatched.
Right. That was our common denominator, so to speak.
It's a song we can play right now, and we all
know it.
Yeah.
I think I got some real girls get down on the floor.
Nah, man.
So I got two more questions. If you can, you might not be able to answer it. What is an album or an artist or a track that greatly influenced you? It can either be at that particular time. It could be a song that was really connected to how you felt at the time, or it can be a song that greatly influenced how you are now as a man. I help you out. My album that greatly influenced me was "Come Home with Me" by Cameron. At that particular time, it was very befitting to my situation. I felt like an outcast at the time, and I was just listening to him. I was like, man, this is great stuff. And it was all I could do too, right? I couldn't play my video games. I was in trouble. I couldn't watch TV. So at that particular time, the album was very influential. What can you think of any? Even an artist, maybe? No,
Man, I just don't. Later on, as I got older, I guess I started listening to more Jay-Z and his entrepreneurship journeys.
Okay.
So listening to that and overcoming and telling the story of basically coming from nothing and creating his opportunity, creating his way, and in spite of, his uncle said he never sell a million records, and he said he sold a million records a million times. Just that whole story of that overcoming and doing for yourself and succeeding. But but before that, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I remember Tupac's All Eyes on Me. I loved as a kid. I had it. We had CD players you had to carry around. I think I listened to it nonstop. Not sure why. I don't know what kind of impact. I just remember listening to that a lot. As an adult, though, Lupe, you mentioned it earlier, but Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor. I was teaching at the time, and I was teaching middle school in South LA, and just the way he was telling an authentic experience about his story growing up, and as it related to the kids I was teaching, and it just really hit me hard. Like, that album was something serious to me. I think, the whole album is based on the food and liquor. There's your good and your bad, and not that anyone's above either of those. It's just part of our experience, and you just talked about it so well. It's still probably my favorite rap album to this day. And even his ability to paint a picture, like you were saying, with daydreaming. And even it helped me define my purpose, like in my daydreaming and what I'm doing day to day. Like it was a good album to me.
I need to go back and pull that one out.
Food and Liquor 1 is definitely one of my favorite hip hop albums of all time. For me, my favorite, I don't want to say five, probably favorite top 10, definitely.
Okay.
It was a great album.
And again, not to say revolutionary, but like American Terrorist on there, Black Man.
Yep.
What was it? I forgot it.
Yeah, he had American Terrorist on there.
He was real critical about society as it is. It was a social commentary. Society as it is, hip hop as it is.
Right.
He kind of just touched on these different aspects of our culture. It makes you think about where you stand.
Right.
Even like liquor, yeah.
No, I agree. So, one last question. What advice do you have to a young man that may be watching this, raising his children, daughter or son, married, fiance, baby mama, significant other, successful or not so successful co-parenting? What advice do you have to any young man that's raising his children? And I'll let you answer first, Justin.
I think if you love hip hop, you should share it with your kids. But I think now being a parent and not a child or an adult without a kid, you have to realize the impact and the influence that words have on children. So you have to be very measured about how you share if you love hip hop, how you share your love of hip hop with your child. Is it certain artists? Is it certain music? Is it only certain songs? But I don't think you should, if you love hip hop and you can see the value, I don't think you should deny your children that experience, because as we've spoken to it, it's been such a huge part of our experiences. Although other things might have shaped us more, our faith, our parents. But it's something, if it's important to you, then you should share it with your child. Just be careful of the inputs that they get. I think that can be accomplished in hip hop. There's enough positive. You don't want to lie to them either. The world is not, peaches and cream,
sunshine and rainbows.
Sunshine and rainbows. So the authentic nature of hip hop is also a good thing. But
raw.
Yeah, but you don't take a 4-year-old to see Thriller, or you don't take a 4-year-old to see. You got to kind of ease them into the harsh realities of the real world, but they need to get it at some point. A lot of the stuff in hip hop exists. I mean, they're not making all of it up.
Right. And I mean, I guess from that same point, I agree. To be measured, to do it within reason and with right timing, but just like I guess all of us, I can safely assume that we've all seen some part of Roots,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's part of our culture, part of our background.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that hip hop is, especially being birthed in the Black community, is definitely part of our background, definitely part of our culture, our nature, and so with that being said, it definitely should be shared with the children. I would just basically make sure you do it with responsibility, knowing that those young minds, what they can and cannot receive at certain points in their life, and just do it with guidance. So, yeah, proper guidance.
Well, I really do thank our gentlemen for
Thank you for having
missing the game,
I know, right? It's halftime.
missing half of the final series and sitting down with me.
Mhm.
And maybe we can sit down another time and talk about deep hip hop things. You know, sounds like y'all some hip hop fans. And don't y'all forget, this man right here is a bachelor.
Oh gosh.
BeneathEverything.com. Thanks for checking us out.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.